I'm here on behalf of the JRAC board. We had only 2 applications this year. One we had last year, Max Weber's post-release program from the jail. He reported quite a bit of success with that. He was asking of us, and we approved to recommend to you $76,000 out of the $80,000 that we asked for. 61%, as near as we can figure, 61% of the people, that money should come out of the unrestricted money. So, restricted money. Yeah, restricted money. So, which is the big pot that we have. Just to, I have September's figures. In the restricted opioid money in September 8, we had $342,000. Okay, and then on in the restricted portion, we had $143,000. So Max basically would have 61% of that $76,000 coming out of the restricted portion. Becky,
what percentage?
61%.
61%.
Becky, for drug-free Noble County, presented an application to us. We had extensive conversation with her. Of hers, they do a lot, it's not so much any specific program, they just do a lot for encouraging the avoidance of drug use. Okay, so we want to make sure that they stay viable. They're useful and viable energy. We approved, we looked over your apps and we approved a total of $24,900 of the $45,000 she requested. That is all out of the $342,000 pot. So I guess I haven't looked recently. Do we expect to receive more money? Because it's my understanding the Sacramento settled again.
Plus there's a couple more.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So my hopes are long term that we can continue both these programs, for the foreseeable future. We'll make use of that money that they profited from getting all those people addicted for a while. But that's the recommendation of the commissioners. And if you recall, you folks made a good decision. You gave us the authority to sit through things.
As far as the sheriff, it was 76,000 total. 61% unrestricted.
Comes out of the restricted.
Restricted.
Restricted. That's out of the sheriff.
Okay, then you're saying then 39% is from the unrestricted,
Yeah,
and then on the 24 is from
from the restricted.
restricted,
All comes out of restricted.
and then that's all you're funding.
That's all we're funding.
Last
Oh,
time.
yeah, we have the 2
You're not
hours.
funding the 21, the additional.
No,
Okay.
no, we looked at, she had a number of programs that, things like convocations. I'm not really real convinced that convocations work in this day and age, She had a number of things that she wanted to fund. I did, some of the things I like, they're duplicating other efforts at the national level, so. But we wanna keep her going, and her operation going and implementing those national programs. Sorry, Danielle?
No.
You good?
Nothing to add.
What's her other funding sources besides the county?
Oh, she has a book.
That was one thing, Dennis, her funding has been cut
Yeah.
substantially. Yeah, so I asked if it was supplanting funds that she was already receiving, and
Okay,
she said that, I can't remember the amount that
oh,
she
here's
was cut.
projected
It was pretty
It was
horrible.
substantial. Yeah. They run pretty bare bone budget.
because they've
anyway.
applied for a lot of different things.
Japanese coordinator.
Judge Hagan, I missed the dollar amount on that, drug-free.
Drug-free?
Yeah, 24 I got, but
$24,900 it was.
24.9.
Yeah, $24,900.
Okay, thank you.
We had minutes, I don't know if you sent her copies of the minutes, the breakdown of those numbers.
I think that was
Right.
attached to your email.
Okay.
Yeah, if not, let me know, I'll resend
Okay.
it.
assume you guys went through as far as what she's had approved and all that.
Yeah, well, you see what she asked for, what she ended up with.
Right,
We had-
right,
we were, and in our first meeting in September, she wasn't able to be there because she had the grant application. We just had a lot of questions.
So I mean, it shows here what she's applying for, and what's been approved, so it looks like that's what I was wanting to make sure that she's getting enough to.
We actually approved specifically.
Yeah, there's actually, that's what we approved and the breakdown.
Or salary expenses. Okay.
Unfortunately, for local entities like this, I think it's our experience, my experience, and I'm sure yours too, that usually the people that are really dedicated, the first thing that gets cut back is the person that really brought the program to fruition.
Right.
So what, correct me if I'm wrong here, Judge, what you're looking for, approval for the 76,000, correct?
That's right. For Max's
Sure.
program,
What-
distributed 61%, 39%.
And
And then the 24/9 for drug-free, out of the restricted funds.
out of the restricted, so 100% of,
100% of their restricted, everything that she can do, we can directly relate to opioid use, so we can, I think, easily do that.
there are additional questions from? Okay.
I was just curious how she'll make up the difference.
Too. I don't know. My guess is that she'll have to go back to her funding sources or start cutting some program. Sadly.
Yeah.
It's like that for all kinds of stuff.
That's the way it is today.
It is,
When
Yeah,
you were
and maybe
talking about-
rightfully so too, some of these programs can be cut.
When you were talking about the convocations, I have all the dumb questions. On this funding for her, the drug-free Noble County, it says Remedy Live Get School Tour. Is that what those were? It's a convocation, so that 15,000 was for those 6 events, okay.
I just think it's,
So that would put it
maybe
down
it's
to
just me, but I just,
30.
I'm sorry.
well, maybe it's just me, but I'm pretty cynical running a misdemeanor court. I just don't think kids today, I think they look at social media, they don't really pay much attention to what happens in convocation, except it's
Done for about 1 minute, 2 minutes,
It
and then
was
they're
for me.
Yeah.
I did ask her if it was evidence-based, that
Yes,
program.
That's right.
And it is not yet, they're working on that
okay.
by repeating the program, but it's not proven to be effective at this point in time, so that was a factor as well.
That was, yeah.
And these funds aren't typical taxpayer dollars, are they? They're
These are-
penalties,
no,
the
these are the penalty
opioids,
monies, yeah.
penalty money, so this
Paid in
isn't
by
just taxpayer funds we're
Paid
wasting
by,
here.
paid by the opioid settlements, that's right.
Okay.
They're monies that, families that profit off of
Big pharma and
addiction.
whatnot.
Have had to pay to the government to settle
Right.
their
Billions.
bad conduct. Billions, literally.
So it looks like she just has like a $5,100 difference between what she asked for. I mean, taking that convocation piece out of it completely, then it's like a $5,100 difference between what you're asking us to do and what she
Well,
has.
she requested 45.
Right, but
Take the
taking
15
that
out.
15,000
Oh, yeah, yeah,
piece
yeah,
out of
yeah,
it,
yeah,
it really
yeah, I
just
see
is a
what you- I see what you're saying.
$5,100
Yeah,
difference, yeah.
Oh, the money's just sitting there.
So that's better than the question. This is like-
Gonna get
Burning
bigger.
a hole in your pocket, maybe?
Well, that goes through J-MAC.
Okay,
Right.
so, okay.
I don't have any problems with any of that. Doesn't appear.
Is that your motion?
No. Okay, so I make a motion that we go forward with allowing the sheriff's department to acquire the 76,000 and drug-free Noble County the $24,900 from the opioid settlements that Mr. Higgins presented us.
Out of the
Yeah, whatever, restricted, unrestricted.
Yeah, divide it up as provided by the applications to give it to you.
per the application.
39%, yeah, for the sheriff's
Yeah.
department, 61% out of the restricted portion, 39% of unrestricted for her, 100% unrestricted.
So stated.
I'll second.
Okay, we have,
You said it well.
It's easy.
okay, we have motion and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Folks, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for what you're doing. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Gosh. You know, I don't think that makes me 80 years old.
Thank
You
you.
know
You're
how fast
awesome.
this year's going.
See you, Danielle.
See ya.
Be careful.
You know,
Every year is quicker. Jeez.
I usually have all my shopping.
Thanks, Danielle.
But we're not having Christmas till January, so confused.
I'll
Get
go
stuff
into
on sale.
correspondence here, we got, let's see, letter dated November 13th from structure, or this is from IDAM, excuse me, for Structural Composites, Indiana. And it just says, this is no, inform you the final decision has been issued for the air permit application. It's been approved, so. Another letter from IDAM, dated November 13th, this is regarding Forest River. And just let us know that also has been approved for their upper chemical. We have minutes of our session held November the 10th, for the additional corrections of those minutes.
I did, under old business, in the first sentence, it says Jackie Knable, County Coordinator. We're over the changes, it should say went.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, no. On the adjournment, it says Dave made a motion,
Oh, shoot, that's, I don't take that out.
that was in memory, okay. That's all I got.
I'm good.
Did you have anything?
No, I didn't have any.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from Board of Commissioners dated November 10th, 2025, with the noted corrections.
Second.
Okay, we have motion second. Minutes, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You wanna have signed this one here?
Go ahead, Gary, I think I can make that change. I don't know what the body again is it.
I've got this all screwed up already.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Yeah, we'll get that. And also for correspondence, I failed to mention the county treasurer's monthly report for the month of October. That came through also.
And everything on the treasurer's report.
I'm good.
How about claims?
Claims I did. I was curious if on page 1, under burial of soldiers, Nellie Page. Typically, it's a funeral home.
It sometimes that is the spouse of
Just
the
given to-
deceased,
Right.
that they taking, sometimes those funerals are paid ahead of time. So they'll
Like
reimburse
reimbursing them
this.
for,
Yeah.
they have a prepaid plan or something.
Right.
Yeah. And I did kind of wonder if her name was Michelle instead of Nell, but in my business. On page 2, I had a question about printing for James Mallory.
I did look that up as well, it looked like they were for nameplates and holders.
Purdue University under the computer software. Is that for equipment or just a?
I can look that one up, I did not look that one up.
That was the, oh. I was curious on the last page, on page 14, under the crisis grant, it says cardio partners, I was just wondering, if that was some kind of a workout equipment or what that was for.
Get in here.
That one is. Housing and federal inmates.
Never asked. That's what I saw that.
What?
That one, security automation systems, 110,000
I
under
saw that too.
housing of federal inmates, what are we? I don't know, Gary,
That's good.
I thought maybe you'd answer that.
Which one?
page 14, the housing of federal inmates, 110,000. Who would we be paying?
Yeah, shoot, I can't find the extension.
Was it new equipment?
Didn't we have the sheriff in here, the system that runs the jail, all the,
That's, he's using those funds from that program to
right,
pay
to
them.
up, yeah, remember
Upgrade
they.
those.
Upgraded their
Okay.
video.
Yeah, because we have.
That's exactly what I thought it was, so I didn't circle
Had stopped and
it,
think
but I
there for a minute, yeah, the one they had in there, can't get parts for, was there,
He's
so,
just using that fund to
thought
pay.
for that.
yes. And we'd given him the option, using that fund, that money from that, put that money in that fund and use repairs, upgrade the jail, so.
Wait, I don't, not, was it the Purdue Extension, Purdue University?
On page 8, maybe you guys know, Health First Indiana, 323 services at the top, $6,500.
Which page?
Page 8, top, Health First, in a subcategory, 323 services.
What is it? I don't know what it on that Purdue,
Okay.
all I have is just the front and back of a claim. on
Okay.
that. It doesn't
know
give
what that
me any details on that Purdue.
Okay.
What was one of the other ones, I'm sorry?
Page 8, Jackie, at the top,
Uh-huh,
Health First, subcategory, the construct, 323 services, $6,510. I've not seen that before.
on page, oh,
Page 8.
oh, sorry.
Second category
6.
down, it says 323 service.
That was, paint, et cetera, I think that is maybe the ones that did that,
Yeah.
repair out there at the, or the remodel out there at
Okay,
that South
So that's the name of
Complex.
that's the name of a company?
Yes,
Alright.
yes, yeah, and it had paint, et cetera, for the South Complex.
Okay. That's all I had.
And then Anita, you had one on the last page, is that correct?
The cardio partners.
Okay.
I was just curious about what that was. Under equipment and supplies.
Here, the, department. There were 2 claims, it looks like, that totaled that.
Oh, okay.
3 claims, it looks like, I'm sorry. Just has their name. it just has Cardio Partners.
Okay.
Let me see if one of the other ones happens to have
Okay.
them.
Health trackers or?
Says tracking numbers, it's got on there. Wait, down here. Electrode on-site home adult cartridge.
For somebody working at home?
That was 742 of it. Let me see what another one of these coins say. It's the same thing. This is an infant child cartridge, was 96.57 of it.
Oh.
I don't know what. Electrode on-site home infant child cartridge.
So it sounds like some kind of monitoring?
That's what it sounds like to me. And there was 3 claims that totaled that amount.
I entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion that we approve claims with the docket date November 24th in the total amount of $369,842.24.
Second.
Okay, we have motion second on claims, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have payroll.
I'll make a motion that we approve payroll for the check date 11/13/2025 and the total amount of taxable gross $499,605.
Second. Sorry, read them.
Okay, we have motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Under old business, we have that. Move to the resolution, I'm assuming that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if
Stuff.
you had talked with them. I didn't have a copy. I think Dennis just gave me a copy
Okay.
that morning.
Without going back, to go back. What, when we discussed at our last meeting, basically that stimulated a lot of, emails to get things clarified. I had a conversation with, trying to look for stuff. He's a director of, let me find it here now. Dead zone here. Basically, I talked to people from Parkview that oversees the Lifeline units. Also received an email from their Parkview oversees their communications. All right, here, found it finally. Okay. One person I talked to is Chad Owen, who oversees the Lifeline helicopters. In the email chain, another is Logan Ison, who is out of Parkview, Kinneville, oversees the ambulances over there. Brett Steppen, who oversees the communications with Parkview. And what it boils down to is when a first responder arrives at the scene, what we had occurring was first responders would arrive, contact our 911 dispatch center, request Parkview's helicopter, lifeline. Parkview would come back, if they have one available, send it. If they could not fly due to weather-related conditions, they would tell them that. What then we'd have is first responder would say, well, call Lutheran, correct, call Lutheran. It puts our dispatch center kind of in a pickle, all right? End result, with everything worked out and talking to Chad, Brad, Logan, when a first responder arrives at the scene, if they feel that a helicopter is required, our dispatch will contact Parkview. Parkview looks at, let's see if I can find it. They look at 5 different lifeline services. Lutheran's one of them, one's out of Medevac, out of, I can't find it. There's a possibility of 5 different helicopters if they have one. There it is, okay. When a call is received with Noble County Dispatch, one of our EMS units requests an aircraft, the dispatcher's CAD system will automatically recommend SAM-1 as the closest aircraft. If SAM-1 is unavailable, the following order is used to determine the next closest available aircraft. SAM-1, SAM-2, Lutheran Air 2, med flight out of South Bend. If all 4 aircraft are unavailable, we will then evaluate the estimated wait time for a 5th aircraft versus transporting by ground as required, as ground transport may be faster.
Who's med flight, like out of Goshen Hospital?
South Bend, I don't know which one.
Oh, it's just us.
But they said regardless, only one call to our communication center is needed to initiate the process. So, the only exception is when our pilots determine that weather conditions are unsafe for any air service to operate. In that case, we do not continue calling additional aircraft, as we will not put other crews at risk. So basically what it boils down to is, they sent this out, here's their policy. Logan just so happened that night or next night had a meeting with the fire chiefs in the county. And they were actually not aware of the process that Parkview goes by. So now all the fire chiefs are aware of it, they're gonna make sure the first responders know. You contact 911 center, they'll make the call,
And Parkview will determine.
they go from there.
Uh-huh.
Do not be telling dispatch to
Send
call
somebody
Lutheran,
else.
we need somebody else. So I don't think the resolution's
Don't
needed, they
need it.
kind of cleared everything up,
And you use the example of weather, but also too, if they're not available.
they're not.
Yeah, because we weren't aware of the situation, they went to these other, down the channel that way.
Right, and it was just putting our dispatch center in the middle and,
Right.
you know, so we all want,
We didn't want any liability to
Sure.
dispatch.
right, we're all concerned about public safety, wanna do the right thing, but it was just,
Did
But
they
you got
tell
the
you
mess.
in those emails, like how do they collaborate when it comes to the billing part of that?
that's all, that's how they run their lifeline services. There's no, they did not say that there's not going to be any billing come to Noble County.
Okay.
It's just how they operate their lifeline services, so.
That's logical, it's what they would do, I mean,
Yeah.
we call them and they handle it.
But it was just, I had never seen the policy, never heard of the Parkview, so they got
So
it
now
to
they
us,
know, yeah.
dispatch aware of it. All the fire departments, police,
Right.
they're all aware of it now, so it cleared the water up, so,
Yeah, so proper protocol is followed.
so.
Do you think it would be, if you've got that email, if you could send it to me and put that with a Parkview contact, would that be wise?
It wouldn't
to
hurt
do
to have it
that?
in there with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if something comes up in the future,
Right, okay.
So. You know, and it just goes back when, you know, I was here, I wasn't aware of this, so this just helped clear
Clears it
some
up.
things, yeah. Okay, that taken care of. Under new business, we have transfer of surplus funds.
Stephanie, from the auditor's office provided this with me. Once this sits there for 3 years, this was, tax sale in 2022. Once that sits there for 3 years, and it's unclaimed, then it can go to the county general fund. So that she's just asking permission to transfer that money from tax surplus to general fund.
So these are monies that we sell a piece of property, satisfy the tax lien, and you have some funds left over.
There's an excess bid on the
Do
property.
you try and contact these individuals?
I think they do everything that they can
Okay.
to contact them. Chances are, because of the tax sale, somebody else purchased it, they've moved on, and we don't have current addresses.
Okay,
This happens quite often. So I think that there are.
they're not expensive pieces of property, so I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
Right,
just
right,
wanted to make sure.
right.
Okay,
You okay with that?
yep, I think
Yep.
the motion was good.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the transfer of the $21,448.17 from the tax sale surplus into the general fund.
Second,
We have a motion and a second on the transfer, all in favor say aye.
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 I just tested you, we didn't see.
Oh.
Uh,
We start cooking it.
we have the appointment to the Noble County Board of Health. This is notifying you that my term of office with the Noble County Board of Health will end on December 31st, 2025. And this is from a Michael Jones. However, I do desire to serve another 4-year term with the Board of Health beginning January. She just says January 2026, I assume January 1st, so.
Yeah, it has, on the actual form, it does have the January 1.
So I'd entertain a motion regarding reappointing Michael Jones to the Board of Health.
I'll make a motion, we reappoint Michael Jones to the Board of Health, effective January 1st, 2026,
I'll second.
for a 4-year term.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And this is from, request for appointment to the Noble County Convention and Visitors Bureau, Tourism Commission and Board of Directors, let's see. This is from Grace Caswell. On behalf of Noble County Convention and Visitors Bureau, I'm writing to inform the Noble County Commission about a change in our board representation. Kate Emmert's term as the lodging representative for Noble County Tourism Commission and the Noble County CVB Board will conclude on December 31st, 2025. She is unable to serve as secretary. Noble County CVB Board of Directors formally request that the Noble County Commissioners approve Caitlin Sproles, I think I'm pronouncing it. Sproles, S-P-R-O-L-E-S. A resident of Noble County and a representative of Mary Lee Environmental Learning Center of Goshen College in Wolf Lake to fill the role of lodging representative.
Is this a paid position? So just volunteer?
I wouldn't think so, but I don't.
I just not aware of it.
Nothing comes through here on that, I don't.
It's not a paid
Health
position.
board is, they get for each meeting, something.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve Caitlin Sporels
Scrolls.
as the new lodging representative for Noble County effective January 1st, 2026, up until December 31st, 2028.
I'll second.
Here we have motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir. come through on, taking this out of operation. It's a 2016 Western Star, dump truck from the Highway Department, correct?
Yeah, so-
Is this being traded, you know, going to be sold on auction, how we typically handle that?
I think it'll go on that auction site Randy's been using here. That was before we
I mean,
got rid of the pickups
historically,
and stuff.
that's how we've done it, just, I assume we'll do it the same. Randy is scheduled for surgery starting in December, so he'll be off short term. But I assume if we get it posted in the meantime, the auction site will take care of the rest.
Entertain a motion regarding the, signing of the title for the closing of the bid.
I'll make a motion that we sign the title for the 2016, Western Star. With the bid number ending in 7978.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second, all in favor, say aye.
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 We were supposed to get one new truck this year, you know how those timelines are, it's like 8 to 20 months. But somebody else couldn't come through on there, so we actually got two, which is great, cause we're a little bit ahead, that would've been on next year's, that we had ordered, but we also had an incident earlier this year, I think you remember the insurance claim where we are rebuilding one. So we're roughly where we're supposed to be, we are spending a little bit more money ahead of schedule, but long term it all works out.
Okay. And also last Friday, I received an email from Andrew Cullen, this is regarding a request for the appointment for the Noble County Public Defender Board. This comes from Annapolis. One we have currently serving on that board as appointed by us is Elena Vargas. Her term expires on 12/31/25. Chief Public Defender Jim Apps has nominated Ms. Vargas for an additional 3-year term. So I guess we have to have this appointee, an appointee by this board here. Elena, the only Elena Vargas I know works at Noble County RMC, she's your office manager down here. She's been there for,
She worked in county court for,
Yeah.
before she went there,
And what position is this for again?
just the PD board, public defender board,
Okay. And what do they do?
oversee the public defender.
Hire them and
Could
sign them?
technically, yeah.
Okay.
What's her first name again?
Elena, I've always known her as Elena Vargas.
It's a three-member
First name is
board.
Luz, then second is Elena, and Vargas, Vargas. I know she's been in RMC probably, and
Oh, more than that probably,
I think she was there when Butch was there, so it's probably been,
15, 20.
yeah.
yeah, very nice person. So I'd entertain a motion regarding Elena's reappointment to that board.
Before we do that, we made a motion and we seconded it, but we didn't say how we did
I did, I thought I did. Okay, all those in favor of signing the title, say
Aye.
aye.
I asked him, I don't think so, but, okay, I'll make a motion that we approve Elena Vargas to the Public Defender Board, and for how long is that?
Three-year term.
For a 3-year term.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
I do have a couple things that just came in. I was contacted by Amanda, from TriCap about decorating the gazebo. I did contact Steve Hook, because I know they've done a lot of, work to that. I wanted to make sure they didn't have any restrictions. And then I also wanted your permission, for them to decorate that. Steve hasn't got back with me. He was going to check with someone else to make sure.
Jackie, can I
Yes.
speak on that? I'm the president of the
Oh,
STAR
okay,
team,
sure.
so he reached out to me.
Okay, all right.
And I asked him to go back and ask about lights, if they're putting lights on, because we were getting ready to do kind of a permanent, semi-permanent installation of Edison lights. And he was gonna reach back, but we have no issue with them decorating, and that would be great.
Haven't they done that in the past, Daryl?
I'm sorry?
Haven't they done that in the past?
Yes,
themselves?
yes, they have. I think they wanted to make sure, since we'd done some work on it, that they weren't gonna be, hurting anything, as long as they didn't put any permanent hardware on the wood. If they just use tacks or.
And they did a very good job on that.
Thank you, I think they did too, yeah. They repaired the floor, I don't know if you're aware of that, but they did repair the brick pavers as well, so.
Looks very nice.
I'll make a motion to approve TriCap decorating the gazebo for the holidays.
Second.
Okay, we have motion second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay.
Anything else on the?
I do have one other thing. Mike Klaus and Cameron Lochner, who is a district veteran service officer, was in my office the other day concerning Mike leaving the end of January. Cameron went over the process for training of a new veteran service officer. He said it's now required that the district officer do the training. He said that takes about 6 to 8 weeks, and that they would require that the office be closed during that time. He said they would refer veterans to surrounding counties, DeKalb, Grange, that type of thing, to do that. But what I wanted to ask you guys is if it would be okay to start the advertisement for the replacement of Mike. Like I say, it'll be the end of January, but so, I just wanted to see when you wanted me to advertise for that position being open. So it sounds like there's quite a process. He said that it would be nice if we could kind of overlap, but I don't know if that's possible, for budget purposes. We'd have to get some additional funds if they overlapped. Mike, of course, said, I'll be glad to come back in, just donate my time to work with them in the transition as well, so, but he did say that, and so I didn't know when you wanted to start that process.
Okay, Mike's retirement or effective when?
January 31st, I believe.
Maybe the process started then.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
All right.
Work with Mike as far as what is required on that.
Okay, I will get that tape. I know that I did ask him when he indicated he was retiring, if he had any, maybe suggestions, and I think he does have one person that he thinks would be retiring down to maybe the Air National Guard or something that may be interested, and so once we advertise, I'm sure he'll be reaching out to some people. Because he would have a good idea there as to what qualifications would be good for that, so, okay, I will get that.
Yes.
I make a motion that we move forward with advertising for replacement for that position.
Second.
Okay, we have motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I think that's it then. Highway. A little late, but we're gonna try.
Got a pretty light agenda today. First thing we had, just the operational thing, I think this is something we kind of discussed a while ago when we were working through the 40 hours physically worked. First holiday of this winter season, and we're plowing snow, happens more often than not. So I just wanted to pick up that conversation kind of where we left off. We talked about maybe some exemptions, possibly for the 40-hour work status. I think the biggest issue is like traditionally, if you worked a regular job, you're on a 40-hour work week and it's Monday to Friday. When you take that work status and it's stretched over 2 weeks and it's this Friday through Thursday, it's very odd for that. Basically, if you've taken any time off, you're getting a portion or all straight time working that holiday. So that's what we saw here for Veterans Day for a couple people, they're taking time off the week prior. Now we're working through that at straight time. I know the time clock is kind of the best, you may really have to go through and flip some type of lever to make that apply, but I at least wanted to bring it up for conversation.
So the way it is now, I mean, you got, what's the question? I mean, if, you have to work a day and it's a holiday, is that the question? And you get overtime or straight time? Is that the question?
So typically how it would have been in the past is you would have got holiday pay for working, and then whatever you worked would have been time and a half. That's historically how we've always done it. But we're trying to clean a lot of things up with these 40-hour physically worked, which I mean, that makes sense, generally speaking, but the problem is the time clock is on a Friday to Thursday, 2 weeks out, so it's offset, so it's very weird. So, I mean, if you take a Friday off, you basically, put yourself in a very bad position for the next 9 work days, and especially if there's any holidays in them. So, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, but
What's a big deal with guys that,
I mean, it feels like we're taking a lot of L's here over the last year. I know we tried to, I don't think comp time was an issue with the highway, we were managing it very well, but we did take that away. Flex time really isn't great. So this is, with this and the wages, it's kind of some compounding issues that we're dealing with. It'd be nice to get a little bit of relief somewhere.
If it snows on Saturday, we're working straight time Saturday.
and they've already worked their full week?
No, we've got Thursday and Friday off for Thanksgiving. So we're gonna work straight time on Saturday, we'll just get paid regular time.
And I get, you could say, if you had sick day or funeral day, that's elective, but I mean, the holidays aren't elective at all.
Right.
I agree, I mean, hey, we got a holiday, you guys are just in an odd situation.
Yes.
With respect to the rest of the planet, I mean, you get called in, not unlike the law enforcement,
Yep.
have to do the same. I mean, if it's a scheduled holiday on Thursday, and you got it off, and we get a snowstorm, you gotta come in, I think they should get their time and a half. I do, I mean, that's just what you have to do. I mean, this is how I would handle it. Now, if it wasn't a holiday, but I don't know, still, I mean, if they're working above and beyond their 40 hours that week. Kinda sort of,
It gets real sticky when you get around the Christmas time that the kids are home, took some time off, but it snowed on Christmas Day, I came in. with my
I think
family.
they absolutely need to get their time and a half, without a doubt.
Yeah.
That's just what you have to do.
So are you saying, are we looking at a possible exemption for physically worked for holidays, or are we just looking at a possible exemption just for on-call plowing? Like if we call them in to plow on a Saturday, or?
I think, geez, I mean, if you wanna keep employees, you gotta treat them right. I mean, it's kinda simple, how do you wanna be treated, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, problem is, running the department, I don't have manual control over anything. I mean, these exercises obviously up to you guys, but then the budgetary side is up to the council. So I'm just stuck here in the middle trying to make the best of what we have, so.
I mean, if you schedule a day off with any holiday and you get called in an emergency, which is what the snow thing would be, I think you deserve to get that extra time and a half.
Well, and I mean, it
I
was,
don't know what you guys think.
and it was a little different with comp time because they kind of gave you a better tool to manage it as well. But, I mean, the flex time falling off and all that, I think it'd be simpler, if you get called in, then the physically worked, maybe, cause you would still need your 40 to get into overtime, but just
Right.
taking the physically worked off in case you had a funeral or whatever.
Yeah. You get that small percentage of people take advantage of it, you know what I'm saying? But if you get called in on a Saturday, I mean, I don't think we need to make policy based upon how 1 or 2 people act.
Well, I think you guys do a good job making policy on the county as whole, But,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's up to the council all the time, that the highway is 100% different than any other department.
I mean, if we get a few people manipulating the situation, we don't need to apply that to everyone, is what I guess I'm saying, you know, so. I'm all for you get your 40 hours in and still on a Saturday, that's your day off. And if it's an emergency, you gotta get called in, what do you think, Richard? I think you need time and a half, I agree with that. And
Well,
however we can get it so that, and that's something you guys get to manage, should be managing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is the question, we wanna be careful how we do this to make sure we meet the intent without messing up anything else we already have in place.
Yeah.
Maybe if you just put that as an, like you say, an emergency situation, because if you, like in the summertime, if you got in a situation where you worked on a Saturday, it was purely voluntary, that wouldn't apply to something like that, but in an emergency situation, maybe that could be a part of that policy, that it's strictly on an emergency situation, that they're called in and you're calling in everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think,
That
you
would
know,
clear it up.
if we wanna define emergency situation as being called in to address the weather, either storms or winter storms.
And
I
then
think that
it
would
is.
make sense.
Regardless of whether it's 40-hour week or not? If you're simply called in?
Well, I think you're gonna get in trouble there, so.
I know, I'm just saying.
So that's why, again, it goes back to the physically worked, I think it's just an exemption from that. And what that means is we would handle it how we've always handled it up until this year, but only for emergency call-ins. And I think that's kinda how we discussed it earlier, it's like we'll cross that bridge when we get here. And now we're here, and the biggest thing is, you know, with the Veterans Day that we just had, that was the first time
Yeah.
that we did call-ins on a holiday.
I mean, if a gentleman's, did the physically work, I agree with you, got my vacation planned, but we have an emergency, got a snowstorm. Yeah, you should get time and a half.
So I guess what I would recommend would be an exemption from the physically work status for emergency call-ins on weekends and holidays. For the highway, with the emergency call-ins being for storms or winter storms.
I make a motion so stated. Did you get all that, Jackie?
I think so.
No, I agree. Those guys need to be compensated.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 I mean, the biggest thing is making sure we have time clock to work, which means we'll probably have to manually override it, but again, it should only be if we're for emergency call-ins.
Yeah, again, that's something, you know, overtime is something you just manage. I mean, there's nothing wrong with some overtime.
Yep.
You know, and manage it properly. So, you guys need to decide.
It seems like it's gonna get bad weather, it's gonna happen on a weekend or holidays, never.
I couldn't believe we got the 6 inches of snow.
Well,
Well, they're saying
Yeah.
something like 63 inches this year, like, what?
we'll work with the auditors to make sure the time clock works, but I do wanna thank you, I know the guys will really appreciate that, and I mean, going into a winter season, I think this will help around quite a bit.
We rely on them, so why would we not support them?
Well,
But it also still have a 4th of July situation where we have the bad storm where trees come down on.
Fourth of July weekend,
So not even just winter, but just
Right.
yeah,
when you have that
weird weather,
Indiana,
and the,
wait on it, interchange.
why are we living here?
alright, with that, we'll keep moving, engineering agenda, annual bids are out for advertisement with bid opening scheduled for first week in December on the 8th. Community crossings, we're in a really good spot on community crossings, our 25 applications are submitted, we're certified for next year, we only have one outline project, which was our most recent award with Culvers. That will start paving next year, and then Bridge 33 should be wrapped up by the end of this year, and we'll get that all submitted. Highway front office repairs, We had our kickoff meeting with Structure Point, who's doing the design. They came in, and we're basically able to do low-grade LiDAR of the whole building, so we have now some actual as-built dimensions. Basically, it would be like the interior survey of the office, so they got enough work that they can start working on building a below design, things of that nature. They were able to fully access above. There was some debris and rubble last time they were there when we were working through the insurance. But there were a couple areas of concern that we now have marked off in the building. We'll continue to function with, limited capacity. And, when we're under construction, we'll probably have some workarounds as well. Shouldn't be as complicated as what we have to do to keep facilities running up here. But ideally, we're targeting a spring, mid, summer completion. We'll just use the main garage for morning and stuff like that when weather works. So that is moving. LPA call for projects. All 4 of our applications have been submitted well ahead of the deadline. All 4 were accepted. We'll likely be presenting on those somewhere in January or February. Bridge 33, we continue to make up time. We spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out the piles on this. And here are the pictures I sent. Basically, the deck pour from the previous week had gone well. We got a good break on that. We went ahead and poured the approaches. We got a good break on that. We're actually able to move up. We have a paving crew up there this Saturday. So if you look at the temperatures and the forecast, weather, getting any pavement down in November before Thanksgiving
It's a miracle.
was the goal,
Yeah.
because there's not gonna be too many days after.
Yeah, I was a little surprised when I saw him make the turn there on Saturday morning.
They're gonna put shoulder stone down today, but
I mean, we may not get ideally, we get the finished surface on it, but, this will at least make it drivable. We can get it opened up at any point here in the near future, which
We'll
is
get ready to go to Grandma's house for Thanksgiving. Somebody.
We had ours this weekend, so.
Somebody can.
that'll be nice to get that wrapped up. Moving on, next item I have LPA voucher for bridge and site, bridge inspection, claim number 21 in the total amount of $2,151.11. I did send in a draft of our RFP for our next cycle, which will be our 27 to 2030. We'll see when that gets back. Assuming it's good to go, we'll get that posted. Typically, you wanna have the next consultant selected about a year in advance of your next inspection. Ours would be April, so posting, reviewing, everything like that, we'll do selection probably early next year.
Can make a motion to approve LPA voucher invoice number 23206-21, $2,151.11.
One second.
There we have motion second on the voucher, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bridge 44, I have an LPA voucher for $141.06. 4C 2024. Both 44 and 136 we're trying to get wrapped up on the final record, so typically the consultant holds some of their billing as they're working through that, because if you don't have an active claim within 6 months, federal funding goes away. So if something comes up as we're going through final records, we have to go back and do anything, we want to make sure our funding is still intact. That's why these kind of
Come in.
are low and slow, but ideally we'll get final construction records submitted here shortly on both of them.
Okay, make a motion to approve LPA voucher invoice number 23307-24, $141.06.
A second.
Okay, we have motion second regarding the Voucher, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same thing, Bridge 136C, claim 20 for a total amount of $124.33.
Okay, make a motion to approve LPA voucher invoice number 22306-20, $124.33.
I'll second.
Okay, motion second regarding voucher, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bridge 134, minor update here. So, in order to hit our ready for contracts day, which is 90 days out, we had to hit that for anything that was on a February letting. That means everything has to be ready to go. It used to be 30 days, and that switched to 90 a year or two ago, just to make sure that you're not missing anything at the letting. So on Bridge 69, hit everything, good to go. We were hoping to do the same thing on Bridge 134, but everything we had, we were kind of waiting on the railroad to get back. It was the final railroad parcel and the railroad agreement. We paid, we sent our full payment up front to them. It's just the railroad. So everything was due by Wednesday. We hadn't received anything by end of business Monday. So I elected to move Bridge 134 back a month. We had a real tight timeline, but we did have a month that we could push it from February, March. So that is what we are doing. We did receive the railroad agreement after hours on Monday. I worked through the deeds. After the agreement was signed, they were okay to send deeds, so we did get those on Tuesday, but we still weren't gonna have our certifications done by Wednesday. So say all that, we got everything. It came in just after it was required, so we did move it back a month. So we'll have a February letting and we'll have a March letting. A lot of times I like to let bridges together, sometimes you get better rates that way. A month offset isn't bad. Somebody comes in, they snag a bridge where it's really close, you'll get better competition hopefully the next week, or if it's somebody that's already moved here, that's a strategic advantage for them. We can see good bids that way too. So that is a slight update. We will, those lettings will be offset, but hoping we get some good pricing on each. Sewer 3, still no update. Probably do a kickoff meeting here sometime over the winter or maybe in the early spring. Updates on Bridge 59, that also will let next year for July letting. We'll hit RFP for that in April. Riley Road, head of the right-of-way contract. This is with American Structure Point. Submitted everything, the LPA checklist and all the required documentation to NDOT. They had no comments, so we are approved to proceed. Total amount $87,965, and this is for the right-of-way.
It's our standard contract, assuming the appendix are correct.
I would entertain a motion regarding the contract.
I was looking for the amount again.
87.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah, you keep.
Okay.
I make a motion, this is regarding what Riley Road, the Riley Road project, we approved the contract between Noble County and American Structure Point for engineering services in the amount of $87,965.
I'll second.
Okay, we have motion second regarding the consulting contract, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Just one place to sign, then.
Yeah. So we are proceeding with the environmental on this. The timeline is gonna be pretty tight. I did put local funding in it to cover, assuming we can't hit our federal funding date, but right away is the smallest federal funding that we have on the project, so. Ideally, everything goes through, we get environmental approval in May. I'm able to request a NDOT contract, get that signed right away, and FEMA's in April. And then it'll all hit at the deadline, but then, we'll be in a good spot moving forward. Also, we, have the RFP out, for Riley Road construction inspection. We were supposed to open these a couple meetings ago, but then they got reposted. DBE requirements have been removed from everything going forward, as far as I know. As part of some of the federal DEI changes, it would be trickle down where we see it on the federal highway money that goes to NDOT and NDOT contracts. So, that being said, like the bridge inspection for 27 to 30, that I submitted was a 0% DBE goal. That's how that was submitted. Same with this, we basically revised the request for proposals to a 0% DBE goal. And we got, all these have been resubmitted since the new advertisement. With that, we will open. That one. That's 6.
This, that,
Signed.
First thing we got is this. Next thing we got is a lock unit. JCA. Next is from Frequency Engineering. What you ready for Christmas?
You would be very good at Christmas, man.
Send my boys in.
Yeah, right, there's some young kids in there that opened up.
It's just getting worse because we're talking about it.
Next up is USI. Lastly is American Construction. Let's use it.
That's the last one.
Is that the last one?
First
It's
one,
the
yeah,
one where in you go.
yeah, please.
Yes, that's.
Those are yours, I mean, okay. Perfect. We'll find a time to do, review of those, maybe your first or your second meeting in December. Yeah, you can see what your schedule looks like.
Nice one, good reading.
Right after the second plate of food.
Yeah.
Really wakes up. chance to review those, and like I said, we'll get into them in December here. County Road 100 North, 50 West, ordinance is being advertised for a 12/8 public hearing.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be today's, and that's my error. I did advertise it for the 8th, so that'll be next week. So
Okay.
I did send that to the commissioners in here, so.
Alright. Better early than late.
I got put it in the wrong folders, what happened?
Bridge 61, we have a LPA voucher for preliminary engineering, claim number 12, and a total amount of $4,772 even.
Okay, make a motion to approve, LPA voucher with invoice number 25276, the amount of $4,772.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second regarding the voucher, all in favor say aye.
Lastly, we have an LPA voucher for Bridge 56, PE claim 11, and a total amount of $521.50.
Okay, make a motion to approve LPA voucher invoice number 24212-11, amount of $521.50.
Second.
We have a motion and a second regarding the LPA voucher, all in favor say aye.
Since we quit making the penny, everything should be in increments of 5, right? I know that
I don't think we're paying any of this in cash, I'll tell you how much. Things in general are going well. I mean, we're obviously gearing up for the winter. We're also closing up everything for the year. We'll have some encumbrances and other things that bleed over work-wise, certain contracts. But as far as this year, we're pretty much caught up on everything. All of our certifications for our grants are good. All of our grant applications for these next cycles are in. So we should have a good year-end closeout, and then next year, I feel like I'm saying the same thing every year, but next year is gonna be one of the busiest years yet. We'll have 3 federal aid projects that are gonna be built. We got a ton of community crossings in different phases. We put in 4 new applications on the federal aid, so if that goes through, we're still gonna have some pretty busy years ahead of us. Alright, need to get more.
Thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You guys.
You moving the neighbors in?
Huh?
Are you moving the neighbors in over the holidays?
Who's moving in?
So you have new neighbors?
Oh, yes, you're right, you were out there the other day. Man, is that a pretty big crib, isn't it?
Yeah, keeping up, keep up with the neighbors now.
I hear you, dude.
What's that,
Yeah, been down there, did that by you? Good money.
One thing you need that I didn't take care of in the business here, Southwest Indiana. Last Friday, I got an email from Chief Deputy Brian Walker. And he, that as you have heard by now, we are conducting an active shooter training at the courthouse on December 9th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'm requesting we close both the courthouse and the annex to the public during those hours. I can have signs made stating closed to the public for in-service training. I will also have training in progress signs outside as well. This training has many moving parts, people and resources are used. If you have any questions, please let me know and do my best to answer them. So, I guess you've already talked to the courts about it.
Complying with that schedule.
Well, I guess, you know, I pulled it down, when I talked to him earlier about it, I said, we just need to make sure that the media puts something out, they're well notified, so we don't have upset people showing up here at 2:00, they can't get in, because somebody run around with a gun on it, or out. You know, we did that before,
We did that when we were over at the courthouse, we had an
Yeah.
afternoon where we did active shooter training over there. Excuse me, I know that the security officers have talked to each department here as to what we need to do as well. I mean, even though the things over there, I mean, there would be a lockdown if everything, went south. So, I know they've talked to us, so I guess that's what we will be going through during that training process is where we go and how we move about
How
that.
long you sit under your desk.
Yeah, so, they did come around and check for locks and all that stuff, so. I think we're ready for it, but yes, we did do that one other time, we had that active shooter.
and I didn't receive any negative complaints about,
Yeah.
from the public about the
Yeah.
restriction during the training, but
What time is it? From
1
2
to 4
1 to 4?
is a.
So basically,
December
both,
9th.
they'll be closed, you're saying, the courthouse and
Yeah.
this will be
Yeah,
closed.
he's already talked to the judges, everybody, but.
But we would be required to be here.
Right, but I mean, as far as to the general public, I think they-
Right, exactly.
And anymore with things happen in society, I guess it's good to do the training. You never know anymore. But I guess I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the courthouse and the annex to be closed to the public on December the 9th from 1 to 4 p.m. for the active shooter training.
Second.
We've got a motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you all this morning?
Fingers tired from making cheese all the kids today with us.
Because I don't know what my niece was thinking, that would be the best first committee to be on. So,
Now you know,
between Thursday and Friday and,
never volunteer for that again.
right? No, it was a lot of fun though. Let's see, for Health First Indiana, we have had 63 individuals screened. And they are providing case management to several. There were 2 tests for children that came back with higher results, and they did complete 1 home risk assessment and educated several people too. As far as the partnerships, we keep growing those. So with the Wellness Committee, we rolled out the 2026 information at the health fair Jackie organized for the county on the 7th. That was amazing, and have a lot of interest. We held a respiratory vaccine clinic at the Council on Aging, so that was exciting. I think our first partnership with them, and administered 14 vaccines. Let's see, with Bowen Health, we were waiting on the safe sleep for their nurse practitioner to get up and running. I believe they are now seeing patients, so we'll loop in Parkview and as they provide that education too. And hopefully get that up and started. And then also working with Bowen, they are really addressing tobacco usage and offering resources at every visit, now offering weight management goals to all their patients, no matter what weight they are, so that really ties into our chronic disease, key performing outcome measures. Let's see, working again with Activate Noble County and the Y to plan for the bike safety events, and we'll utilize rated funding again for that, so we can serve all of the public. We all are, and did just have our second meeting with Parkview and the state for a new grant they have for trauma and injury prevention. So that would tie into our fall prevention key performing outcome measure to prevent falls relating into the need for hospitalization. We know that, you know, when people fall and if they break a hip, then a lot of times they may not, make it back out of the hospital or if they need nursing home care, they may end up having to meet or require that level, so. Some information, and the Hoosier Falls Prevention Coalition, sorry, that is an Indiana coalition that, is on the last page there, that also ties into our trauma and injury prevention. They're working to educate the public and, try to prevent falls in Indiana, so, we're participating in that. And then I've added the vector control data, you can see, and the pool data, there were a lot of violations, Isaac noted, ranged from not testing or keeping daily records to, the alkalinity being off, and some of the pools, like one pool had a skimmer at one of the hotels, but didn't have a skimmer basket that was required, some violations like that. So they also had a flow meter that wasn't working, so he gave them resources on where they could get a new one and that sort of thing. We did host with State Deputy Health Commissioner Pam Fontones on the 30th of October, and it was a very nice event. We probably had 15 to 20 people there, so that was good. And then we've had some different things going on this month too. So, do you guys have any questions or?
Quick question, when claims come through, what's that cardio, remember what that was? That was from the health.
Yeah, that co-ed grant, I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
There was how much was that, now? Do you remember?
Yeah, 323, it was like $6,500.
No, it was the other, well, it was the other one.
Cardio Partners for
Yeah, cardio partner.
47.
It had something about monitoring
Was
There
it
was a-
infant?
infant and child, and then there was an adult thing.
I don't know for sure if it was the co-ed grant, that would go through Carrie.
Carrie.
So I can ask her, she's out this week, but I can send her a message and see, I'm not sure. We did, through Health First Indiana though, purchase an AED for the Elks, and we are waiting for the MOU to come back from the Council on Aging to get them one as well. But that would have been that, so I'm not sure what that
No,
was for.
not to put you on the spot, we just had,
No, that's okay.
sometimes things come through on claims and we
Oh,
just
yeah,
never seen
sure.
that before.
Yeah, just some clarification would be nice.
Cardio Partners, and how much was it for them?
$1,247.21.
There was 3 claims that come together for that amount, it
So that was
wasn't
the
just
total.
one, yeah, there was 3 of them.
Okay. Okay, I'll check.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Amy?
Okay, have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good, we don't have anything until 10:30. Just wanna take a brief recess?
Sure.
Good.
Right, let me
Are
get
we still
you-
meeting December 1st at 1 PM, all of us?
Yeah, that was